Hi, my name is Emily from Edits by Emily, and I'm going to give you guys a super quick tutorial on how to create a new Premiere project on Premiere CC Pro 2014. So I had one that I was going to start with. I'm going to start with a totally new one to show you how to create a sequence that is effective. So this one is going to put in the folder on my external hard drive, and it's going to be called it's going to be called sample. Let's just do that. Okay, so general, video recording playback. This is how you leave this HD if you're recording in HD. I choose to, usually it automatically wants to store your your cache files from your scratch disks, which is really your render files. It wants to put them usually in somewhere on your computer. I like to keep them all in the same folder as the project. You can see here how much gigs is left on my hard drive. And just so you know, I'm running on an HP DV7. I'm running on an HP Envy DV7 dual hard drive notebook PC with Beats audio, an Intel Core 17 processor, and NVIDIA GeForce technology, which is pretty much for gaming, but it's great for editing. I also have a solid slate hard drive and I have a second hard drive for file storage. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so this is our blank. We start out with a blank slate. So you can really change the interface however you want, whatever's convenient for you. I really like to just leave, I don't even need the info. I try to keep it minimal, also to save CPU. Leave the effects, definitely leave the history open, project bin, effect controls, metadata. I don't really need the metadata right now. It says source, no clips, program, no clips. Your source is going to be your clip from here, and your program is going to be your clip from here. So we need to get our clips. First of all, we have to make sure that we bring some clips in. So, oh, by the way, if you ever do happen to close, these windows can move like that. I don't like that. They can go like that, which is really cool for you to organize your files. So you can move things around. If you ever lose a window, you just go in the window menu and it has all of your options, or if you want additional tools, shortcuts, you do this. I definitely use the reference monitor when I'm color correcting, which you can't see right now, but that's another story. So first we're going to import our media. You can either double click and pull that up, or you can drag and drop. So I'm just going to drag and drop. I have my sound folder. So I already started this, so there's going to be some render files already created. There's our .pec files. Once you're finished with a project, I delete them just because they take up a lot of space on the computer. The ones that take up the most space are the CFA files, which are the full render files. You don't want to drag another project in, so make sure you deselect that. Alright, so I'm going to drag all this right into Premiere. Now, these are, I shot it on a DSLR 5D Mark II, so that's why this pops up. Those are the info files, metadata and stuff. That's just for that camera. It just always does that. So there's a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of like little clips, like 42 seconds, 18 seconds. Those are like really color tests, as you can see. We shot it with the color.
Give me 5 seconds there.
Like one of those muffles.
Mississippi 2, Mississippi 3. Can you?
So that way, that's just for matching up and color correction. So that's stuff that you can really leave to the side. And but to start out, for beginners, I'm just going to create. there's an option to create an automated sequence, but for some reason it's not letting me do that. Because usually if you select multiple clips, it'll give you the option to create an automated sequence. For some reason it's not doing that. So instead of dragging them one by one, I'm gonna go with just actually, I'm sorry. You want to make sure that you go by file number. So these are actually backwards. Oh, also you can change this view to a thumbnail view or a list view. Here it is. So I'm going to make sure that these are in order by name, starting from first to last. So we have started at 0407 and we did enough clips and we slated it almost every time all the way to 41. I'm just going to take all of these and drag them onto I call it a timeline, but it's a sequence. I don't know why I call it a timeline. You have your video one, audio one. This is just normal stuff. So
but we went from Pasadena.
Okay. All right. So let's do a little.
Okay, so let's do the focus also. I don't.
Framing. I'm just watching through because your first thing that you want to do if you're an assistant editor, especially, is to the best thing to do is you have to start from the bottom and just organize files and trim these clips down if you want to be an assistant editor.
I had French toast.
So right now we did a sound check.
And coffee, never.
The sound check is for the microphone. So we're still framing the shot.
Calf liver and onion, I think, right?
We're just asking them random questions about what they ate for breakfast, blah, 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 to do sound
Sound
check.
is feeding.
Okay, guys, give me a sound check.
Check.
Are we good,
This is
Emily?
where it's
Let me come
safe.
up a little bit.
And you can pull these down to do
Check
more.
again.
Mic check.
Check.
You can
Check.
actually do thumbnails.
Good.
Okay, that's good. Perfect.
Okay.
But it's not
Is it
fully-
15% higher than where I told you?
We're talking
okay.
about
Good.
the sound
Okay.
being
All
15%
set?
higher.
Okay.
All set. We're
So then you're
rolling.
going to
Camera's
hear the
rolling?
slate.
Yep.
Can you see the slate?
Yep.
Yes.
This is what you need. That clap right there is what saves you. Because if, God forbid, this happened to me on one of these interviews, God forbid you don't record audio on your camera for whatever reason, you have to sync visually. So all this was test footage, so I'm just going to delete that. So we're going to start from here. I'm going to trim down to here when the clap started beeping. Okay, so that's just one file that I trimmed down. Everything else we did pretty much, we tried to do consecutively, but with the camera, DSLR, it shuts off every 12 minutes and 49 seconds. So I try to take little breaks. As you can see, all my files are around 10 minutes, anywhere between like 10 minutes and 5 minutes, or 5 minutes and 10 minutes. Okay, so now for your audio file, this is the most important part, to sync sound from a separate microphone or recorder onto your, to sync it with your video. Premiere CC Pro is the first version to actually let you do this automatically, and instead of having to do it visually by waveform. Excuse me, got allergies today. So, oops. So I'm going to also look through all these files and see, just take a quick listen to see which ones are worth keeping. This is obviously a sound check. This is a sound check also, I believe. Yeah, this is just jibber jabber in the background for 15 minutes. There's 40 seconds. This is all just me setting up because I'm
About 6
not
months
a
later.
sound person. Okay, so here we found our first
Yep.
okay, so this matches up now with our other one, the sound file here. We did takes, so there's going to be a lot of sound files. So again, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the video timeline. I'm going to now that I found the first one, go all the way to the last one and drag them onto audio 2 right here. Audio 2, see that? It's going to be a bunch of files. It might need a little time. You'll see like a bar in the corner with that's like rendering it, reading it. You can see I changed the levels at one point.
At the time, there's a lot of money in it.
Okay, so let me just make sure. This is S is solo, M is mute. So sounds like I'm listening very closely.
Next time you come. And then the 4 dudes came out from the back and fucked them up.
Oh, this is from a different project.
That's a good.
So see, I still had files on the same SD card that I put in here by accident. So that one wasn't gonna match up. That was for a different project. So let's see what we have here. Speeder.
Okay, John, action.
What did you have for breakfast?
Okay, that's a sound check. Now, actually, you'll be able to see very clearly. See, if you look here, in this area, you'll see very clearly when we started, when we slated. This might be a slate here.
Okay, that's good. Perfect.
See, this is where we started. To change your tools and just some quick shortcuts, the ones that you're going to need to use most is the cut and the cursor, and also the track select forward, which means it lets you grab everything instead of having to zoom out, highlight everything, and then drag it forward. So now that I found our first audio track, just found our first audio track with the slate, I'm going to highlight this. I usually start from the end so that nothing gets overlapped, but I have room in between just in case something moves. And here it is. Alright, so I highlighted this, the audio track with the slate, and then along with this little clip in the beginning, which we probably called cut because of sound or something like that. So you're going to go synchronize after you right click, sync. If you have a time code, sometimes that works, but it usually works camera to camera, not with an external recorder. You're going to go to audio track 1 or track 2, doesn't really matter. Mix down, sometimes that if it doesn't work on channel 1, it does work on mix down. It'll say sometimes cannot find a matching footage for the sound, so then that's when I try mix down. If I can't get through with mix down, then I do it by eye. Alright, so I'm just going to press OK. This is going to process for a second. It's going to process both clips. Okay. So now we see where we start, okay? So this is empty space. Let's make sure it's synced up properly. This is solo on this audio track. Right now we are only playing the microphone audio,
And action.
which I increased.
Where did you two meet? American Stock Exchange.
Okay. So I'm going to trim the unwanted audio. Drag this back to the beginning so I have a good start. If any footage got clipped from anything else, make sure it's full length. Again, we did slate again. So we must have called cut. Let me just take a listen.
Because this is phone over here.
We had to re-mic because we're getting wind. So this is a cut. This is, so then we did slate again. So it would be, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't really explain what I did there. Control Z is undo. This was when we were repositioning the microphones, and so the camera was turned off. So this is really this is like what you don't want, so you're going to trim it down. Then we're going to start from the next clip. And we're just going to go clip by clip and keep doing the same thing over and over for each clip, making sure that we don't lose any footage by using the V, the cursor to extend the footage. Oftentimes I will cut up, see, like times like this. Now you see that obviously the match starts here.
I kind of noticed that he had short hair.
Actually, this didn't match up. See, Premiere did a bad job.
Just look at the part act.
We're slating and she's talking, so for some reason that didn't work. But you see, we lost all that footage because it messed it up. So let me just double check this audio file, make sure there's a
Okay. Check it now. I just plugged it out and plugged it back.
So you were there before.
Yes, about.
Often, what's your favorite?
Thank you for stopping by.
That was a great.
I'm gonna.
Where did you meet?
action. Do we slate? Yes, okay, so there's our slate sound. Like, beep, 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 beep. So I'm gonna trim that. That's the mark in, mark out. So when you're an assistant editor, this is what you do. You trim out the bad stuff and you leave the good stuff, which now you see here in the project. Now it's shorter. So I'm gonna try syncing this again, but this time I'm gonna go with the mix down because Premiere did not do a good job by itself, so I have to try a different method. It should be better the shorter the clip and the shorter the audio along with the clip, then the easier it is to sync. So see right there, it did it by itself. Beautiful. So I'm just gonna extend it, make sure it goes from start to end, and then drag this over. So you're pretty much creating a timeline of takes.
American.
Oops. Okay, so you can see this is solo.
John,
Everything
take it
is
over
matching
again
up so
at the
far.
beginning. Action.
Where did you meet?
I think we met up in the American Stock Exchange, 1992, September 1992. I believe.
Okay, good. So now we have that track synced. Obviously, we have more sound. So on to the next file. Now this is a very short clip.
Well, I like it.
How are
We're
we
getting
doing that
hungry,
sound?
aren't
Might be between takes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And
Croutons, and to me, I don't understand how you could have a Caesar salad without croutons.
Is that because you're Italian and he's kind of fake Italian, or
see, this is us just in between takes, probably fixing sound. Let's find the next slate.
Anchor swam, and the ones that swam.
Where do I start? Where you left them? Ice. I want the ice to be crisp.
Okay, well, since we're still framing, I don't feel like listening to all that right now, and this is why Premiere is great for syncing sound, so I don't have to sit and listen to it. I'm going to try to synchronize this again with the mix down. And just so it won't let you do anything if it's doing this, like you can't click outside of it. You can open other windows, like I'm defragging or whatever, but it doesn't let you do anything else in Premiere. And like I said, the longer the clip, the longer it takes and the less accurate it is to sync the audio. You always want to double check. Okay, so this brought this all the way over here. Let's make sure they're still consecutive. So this is 14. And this is 20. So I lost a lot of clips in between there. See, I lost, let's see, I only lost one. We have 14, where's 15, 16? Unless I deleted them because they were bad takes. We have 16. Should be up 17. Oops. You always want to make sure if it's an interview that everything is in order by take. These seem like really short.
A question because now it all just gets paired up.
Kind of thing where you.
Yeah, okay, those are color tests, so I'm going to leave that out. Okay. Back to basics. Make sure the sound is all the way good.
You have absolutely nobody to go to. There is no complaint anymore.
Now this one, I tried to signal to the director that we were running out of camera time and I would have to, I was going to have to cut and start again. So we lost one word in video, but we still have the audio. This right here is fully extended. So I'm going to just try syncing these little clips together because, like I said, the shorter, the easier. And this is so easy as an assistant editor that it's just, you know, it's just simple stuff once you get the hang of it, like with organizing and labeling your footage. Like if I had an assistant editor, I would be labeling this as take 1, take 2, take 3. Okay, so this one didn't find a match. So let me listen to it.
Put up the collar.
I just want to hear the on camera.
Wow. Now we're on to the next thing.
You'll be
Now
able
we
to
have to
like lay
start
low.
this kind of thing
So
where
you
you have
really-
to.
Okay, so it seems here we're still doing the color tests. Okay, so we don't even need that. We don't need that. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next sound pieces. Let's move all this over a little bit. Oh, this is what I was telling you. You now, this track select forward tool is great. If you need to make extra room, you press the A button on your keyboard and it'll be these 2 arrows. And you press it one time and it selects everything forward. And you can move it over however far you like. So here, this one, let's see, I'll start out with this. And let me just make sure this is good interview footage. That we slated it. And
Take
usually,
4.
what you would do as an assistant editor, you would find, gosh darn it, you would find the slate in the source monitor and start it from and trim it, the mark in. See, if you should also label it according to the slate, which is why you have to be able to see the slate. If you can see, we had to move the slate a few times so that it was in focus. Okay, so this is all interview. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So this is all interview, and let me check what this sound is all about. Speeding, so it sounds like we're about to
What
roll.
happens now with that? It all just
Okay, so this is interview. So, let's try this again. Synchronize. Let's try audio track 1. See how that works. Processing. Sorry for the squeaking, I'm on an air mattress. This is my office, an air mattress. No, again, it didn't sync. So, this is where it gets tricky, but not that tricky. Okay, so you're gonna zoom all the way in, and you see it's almost right there. You see these little spikes? You can see it's almost exactly lined up here with this little spike. That might be why I wasn't able to find a match, because it might have already been synced like in the right place by its own. And also keep in mind, the further you zoom in, the more control you have over the time, the amount of time that you move things over. So if I try to move it here, I'm gonna move it the least I can do is a whole second. I don't need a whole second, I need like a millisecond. So, let me check.
Yes, I'm speeding.
Pat Mullins, upstairs,
it's
please.
you. You gotta.
Okay, so that's where it both begins. So this one starts here. We're going to match it up by those little beeps. So what those little beeps are there for, to make the editor's life a whole lot easier. That really is what the slate is for. It's for the editor to sync sound. And so if you're an editor, this is the most important thing that you need to know. So as you can see, I'm doing it by eye. Little by little, I have to get closer and closer so that I can move it, say, like 1 millisecond. That's too long. So if I move it back, that's where it should be.
All right.
Now you hear both tracks.
And
So you hear, that's the on-camera sound. That's the mic sound, which is, actually the mic is hung above the frame, so
That's the only thing that would make sense.
I'm going to
me.
have to bring the gain up. Sometimes also if you're having trouble syncing, your gain on your audio can sometimes be too low to pick up frequencies. I'll increase this by 5. But
People that are selling.
you know, it's just if you raise the gain, then that helps you with any issues of syncing sound. Alrighty, so now when I like to keep all my stuff neat so I don't overlap anything, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it, which is this tool right here, the cut tool, razor tool, I'm sorry. But you can also just press the C button on your computer, which is what I do. And I'm going to cut right here. You get those little tabs with this magnet tool, snap. Okay, so I cut that. Why? Because I don't want to lose this. So I'm going to drag this over near the other footage, and I'm going to bring the next clip over here, see if this is a match. So, let's do it again. Synchronize. Let's see. Uh-oh. Yet again. Premiere moved it all the way over here. That's not good. So, let's see what this footage is about. So it is interview. Was it slated? Let's find out. Because sometimes, like I said, the DSLR stops rolling. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to try another technique of syncing the sound. I'm going to go to the right-click audio gain, adjust gain by, I want to go up by 5 decibels. Oops, I'm sorry, that was 0. My keyboard didn't do it. Do that again. Audio gain 5 decibels. Now you see it raised up a little higher, so it might be able to sync it better now that it has a higher frequency. So I'll go to synchronize. Let me instead of that, let me do mix down. This one's taking a while, but give it a second. Good things come to those who wait, as we say. There we go. Uh-oh. Still no good. That's not right. And you always want to control Z if that happens. You know, you want to undo, because if you don't want to lose any footage. So that also would be in your history. I'm going to zoom in on this. I'm going to listen to only the second track.
Ed is still on the trading floor. You're at home. What was that transition like? Is that difficult?
I can actually see right here the wavelengths. This should be right about here. See? Right here, this is like a good point to match up sound. Anywhere that has a good peak, like right here, is a good place if you have to match visually. So I zoom all the way in 1 millisecond. 1 more millisecond. So it's 2 milliseconds off. So
Definitely
how long it took
different
me to
for Monica. You know, in the beginning,
start and stop. So right now this is only
we grew up in Brooklyn where we
the
were
boom
20 minutes
mic.
from work.
along
very,
with
very
then
much part of
it's
the
not even
community,
playing
working
on
every day,
camera.
working 12, 13 hours a day, and
This is
spending
both
all
of
that
them
time
mixed
at work, and
together.
then going home
That's
afterwards
on
until,
camera.
you know, I was still doing that now,
That's the
and now
boom.
Monica wasn't, you know,
Cool.
we had our son.
So we have that synced. And actually this one is an extension. Since it rolled over 12 minutes, I had to stop and start again. So I'm going to put it right up next to this one. Because it actually, the sound continues. Because remember, we cut it.
I know the entire time.
I'm a
Like
professional
you're gonna
poker
get a
A
little
player.
guy
jump
from,
there.
you know, the neighborhood to head down to the Jersey.
You were spending, you said 80% of your time together up until then.
So as you can
So
see
what was
there,
the
there's a jump cut because we didn't have two cameras. So, but the audio continued where we cut it. On to the next one. Also make sure there's no audio left on something that you might have left out. I see a little clip here that probably shouldn't be there. Nah, I should zoom in. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We tried to slate everyone. This was the director's idea to slate every time the camera had to turn off. So this audio is looking pretty good. Let me try to automatically sync it. Every clip is different. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't just go with the clapper, but we'll see. Sorry for the noise. And just a tip, if you don't have a lot of RAM in your computer, or your RAM is old or something like that, where you're using a lot of CPU that you don't, didn't work again. So again, we have to do it by eye and by clapper. Let me see. There's the clapper. There's 3, 2, 1 right here. So here's your peaks right here for the on-camera sound. You see those are the beeps. So let's trim that to the beeps. And we have to find where the beeps are on this one. It might be right here.
Just because I'm getting
No, let's see.
we're not right at your nose,
Like right
next
to
your nose, closer to your face.
Oops. I always have to solo one track to find.
Don't leave it there for Monica.
I took one and
A lot of times I'll leave. See, right now from what I see, it looks like the beeps aren't until here. I probably left sound speeding while I was repositioning repositioning the mic or something like that, or we were in between takes. So now that it's shorter, now we put it up against here. You know what? Let's try syncing automatically again. And you know what? Also, like how I brought the gain up, I'm gonna bring this gain down. Also because it kind of gives you a little bit clearer. Adjust by, I'm going to say adjust by -5 because we adjusted by 5 before, so let's go down 5 decibels. That way that Premiere can see the waves more efficiently. Let's try seeing that now once we trimmed it, if Premiere can synchronize it by itself. Let's go back to audio track 1. Again, no luck. So, this is super easy with the clapper. Super easy. Zoom, go put the marker where you want it. Zoom all the way in. And line that baby right up. Look, see? That looks like it's exactly where it should be. Might need to be moved over by a millisecond. Yep. Let's move it over by 1 millisecond. 0.01. There we go. Now this is solo on this track. Solo on the boom. So you're not even hearing them.
You mentioned the commute
That's
being
on camera.
I mean, there was a lot more to it. I mean, you were the only one.
Both.
Yeah, it's an interesting story because, you know, as my wife said, you know, after 9/11, the game really changed for a lot of people in the exchange and with what happened.
Production,
For me,
mix
short
it.
term anyway, it was just the
Yeah,
opposite.
you're bringing this
My wife and I got
down.
married in 2002, and I took a
bring
job at
this
another
up.
company. And before I knew it, I
always
was
master my
making twice
sound
as much.
I always master my sound before I send anything out. Because especially if there's a hissing on the microphone, we'll get into sound specifics another time. Okay, so you see we're moving along, and it seemed like the rest of the interview was done in one sound take. So we're probably just gonna end up cutting this up into pieces. Let me find these. Let's see if we slated it. Sound speeding, I said.
We had a real slate the other day, and the kid was like, "This was $1,000."
Slating. So you hear a lot of like talking before and after that you just wanna.
Is the framing still the same when they look at me?
Perfect.
He's
Yeah.
asking about the
I guess.
framing.
So I have a couple of questions about like when you left.
So it seems like maybe we didn't slate that one. We just kind of said
This was
action.
$1,000. I said,
Okay, so
Why did the Amex?
that's fine though. It's not a big deal. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna start with this clip right here with the audio track, move it over to the middle so nothing gets overlapped. Let's try and see if we can find a match. Which it should be able to pretty easily because it seems like everything's pretty consistent after that point. This will take a little bit longer, but it will go slower every time because we're going to cut it every time that we sync a clip. That way it's easier for you to synchronize. It's faster and easier because it recognizes the waveforms better. Sorry about that. It's still early. See, it's taking a lot longer than some of the other clips. Not a lot longer, but it takes longer, and that's because we have a longer audio track. Yeah, it takes about 30 seconds. If you're shooting with just one camera all the way through, you can do that too, but it's really hard to find a match, so it's good to do it visually, find one peak, and kind of work from there. Like say if you do a theater show or something like that, with one continuous roll camera like the one I'm using now. Okay, so actually it looks like they were already in sync, but I think we should check it too. So I do.
I think the type of order flow we had when I first started, there were no ETFs, there were no structured notes, there weren't these conglomerate groups of things that you could buy. The ETFs changed the way the trades happened.
Great. Okay, so now that one is on point, we want to put it near the other ones, and we want to put it in the safety zone. I call it. I've never called it that before, but I'll call it the safety zone from now on, which is over here. You don't want to overlap anything, so just go with the brackets. So obviously this one should also be very close. You see I cut it, so it's going to be easier to sync every time that I cut and more accurate. Took me a long time to figure out to cut in between. Oftentimes I will lock the video track and only work with the audio if I have multiple cameras layered on top of each other, and it actually tells you how many seconds, how much time is off from the footage to the time code on the footage to the time code on the audio. So it'll automatically let you slip it or move it into sync. Slip it in as you have the audio where you want it, but the video is not there. Move it would be to move the audio to match the visual. Just a random piece of information there. Still processing. Pardon my allergies, I'm sorry I keep coughing. As you could hear in some of the tracks, I've been having allergies all weekend because I live in New Jersey and it's allergy season. Great time to stay inside and edit. Uh-oh. Premiere didn't do its job again. Bad boy, Premiere. Now, so when something like this happens, and see it moved it all the way over here, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If I know that this is going to fit these pretty much consecutively, I'll leave that be for now. And I'm going to give this a try of just syncing a different one. And I'm going to change this to mix down again because it's giving me some issues with the track one, it seems. I really don't know the difference between syncing between track 1 and track 2. I mean channel 1 and channel 2 or mixing down. I believe mixing down would probably, I would assume, mix the right and left stereo sound with each other. All 4 tracks pretty much. 4 meaning channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Also keep in mind when you're editing anything and you're doing post-production sound, just a little tip is that voices are heard better, verbal conversation, human speaking is heard better in your right ear, while music and other sounds are heard better in your left ear. So you may want to pan your sound a little bit to the right if you're like right, you can do it if you extend the menu. That way it just has a better effect on viewers. So anyway, this did find a match right here.
Fix the technology. We're pretty
Almost like went back to work on the exchange.
Okay,
Never.
it's in the right place.
And that's to me because I.
Okay, so allergies, man. Okay, so we have that. That's a lock. I'm gonna move into the safety zone, but I'm gonna leave room for that other one in between because I know it goes there somewhere. Actually, what I should do, I'll be able to match this up better since I'm cutting it. I'm just going to leave that spot in the timeline blank for the video because it's continuous audio. So these 2 audio files should match up very well with this. I mean, these 2 video files should match up well. So let's sync, mix down. And this is about a 2-hour interview or an hour and a half of footage, and as you can see, we've synced almost all the sound in like half an hour probably. So pretty much from here it's all just trimming and cutting and color correction, color grading, which our colors were really nice. It was nicely lit. We did some outdoor stuff and it came out very good. I'm happy with how this interview filmed and the sound, in my opinion, it came out fantastic. Thanks to me. I never really did on-set sound production before, but I sure as hell taught myself well. No hissing, no, not too much ambient noise, all that good stuff. Well, that one didn't find a match either. It sent it all the way over here. Why would you go over there, little clippy? That doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to put you over here in the unclaimed property bin. And I'm going to try this last clip. And we sync this, see if it works. It'll make it easier for me to sync the other clips. I think what it is the volume. You know what? I think the volume is too high on the camera on all these clips, so I'm going to highlight all of these on camera. I'm going to go again to the audio gain. I'm going to go down to -10 because it seems like it's really high. And it's going to lower the decibel level of the camera noise so that it'll, again, give you better wavelengths to link to your boom or lav mic. And if anybody can tell me a good screen capture software so I can start doing more tutorials, I would really appreciate it. So leave it in the comments, please. That would be awesome. I'll love you forever. Alright, so let's see. We have found a match. I feel like we're on the matchmaker game. So I'm going to cut around this. I know that that one goes in the middle. So we have this one here. Must go here. It's like putting a puzzle together. And then this one here must go there. Right? That only makes sense.
You guys weren't really. I mean,
Okay, I
people
see
think
the
that
peak
because
right here.
and you're right. The exchange worker is
Yeah, as
really
you
the
can see,
blue
it's
collar
not
guy
matched
because
up.
he was the guy that was
But if I look very closely, should
very
be-
good salary. But I worked.
Now you see, I saw this little peak right here. I'm gonna zoom in real close on it. There we go. Now it's matched up by eye. I don't know why Premiere couldn't do that itself. It's being lazy.
I worked very hard every day.
So that's your lav mic. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to
on-camera.
believe that I always worked on
That's-
behalf of the public, and
that's your loud
like I
mic.
said, that at times
That's
that the
both of
public
them
may
matched
have
up.
gotten the wrong price.
By the way, the space bar press is stop and start. Watching to stop and start your playback. So again, let's do the same thing. Put it right up against the other one, and make sure there's no jump cut here.
And I just,
Okay, there's a little jump cut, but it's okay.
Last question. Yeah. So.
Go ahead, I'm rolling.
Rolling. Okay.
Okay. See, so he asked a question about rolling. So he did. He was. I have to say this. The guy was very great working with me and the DSLR because he's used to much bigger and better projects, and I'm honored to be working on this documentary that I'm showing how to.
The way technology
That's,
is, we talk
that's
about it
that's
every
an
day. It's about
interesting-
getting faster. It's about doing things quicker and quicker and quicker.
Okay, so as you can see, that one is not matched up. There's a good peak. Let's see. Near the end here, I see some.
Very nice.
It's a great round.
you know, there. I would almost laugh at the people walking by, like, yeah, you can't come in here. You know, that's right, only us. We get to come in here, you don't. You know.
Interesting. Unless this is, what's the file number? 3.1. This is 3.1. This is 3.1. So these are the same clip. Interesting. So for some reason we got a duplicate in there, which is why we've been having some trouble. So let's try to move this into a little safety zone over here. And this is the last clip, so hopefully it'll sync easy. I realized that there was one repeated in there. I do still have to move this clip back to where it should be. So we didn't find a match, and I moved it over just to keep it safe. This is pretty much a guide to being an assistant editor. I'm an editor freelance. I don't have an assistant yet, so this is actually going to be used to teach my assistant how to do better and work more efficiently. And I hope that people might learn something off of this simple tutorial, though it's kind of long. It does kind of go over a lot, so let me know if you like it. Give me a thumbs up. This one's taking a while. I don't know why. There we go. And it didn't find a match. Well, that's interesting. I have to control Z. Okay.
Now, I
This was
don't see that 5.
Okay, so that was 30. I was wrong when I said 31 got repeated, because here's 30, here's 31. Now, as you can see, oops, we gotta redo that. As you can see, there should be a jump cut here. Let's see if the sound rolls continue.
He was convinced that somehow this
I
turkey
see a
and
jump cut in the sound.
grand scheme of things, who cares who gets your turkey and cheese sandwich?
There should be a little jump cut here.
Alright, I'm done. Let's reset that.
Okay.
Yes, I can, and I'm rolling.
A financial firm up in Jersey City, not doing.
It's still not synced. We did slate. Okay, great. We did slate this, so.
Sound
Perfect. Yay. So we have a slate.
on this meeting.
Okay. See the last clap? Right there. Right there. Gonna zoom into that. I'm moving the video. You can move the audio or the video, whichever you prefer. One more millisecond. And we're about a millisecond off. There we go.
Alright.
Okay. So far so good. So we're getting somewhere. I'm going to trim this unwanted sound with the clapper. And I'm going to extend this to the end of the clip. Okay, so we have another one. Let's see. That's the end of this one. This one here, what's the file number? This is 28, so this is the one that's missing over here. So pretty much I already know that, so I know it's gonna fit over here somewhere, so I'm not even gonna try to sync it because it might overlap on something. I'm just gonna go by eye. Which is a little bit tough, but I think I see a good spike right here.
It all is the same.
Yep, that's close, okay. Luckily, I've pretty much learned how to read lips by doing this. So, hopefully you will too. I'm gonna move this up, I don't want to overlap any other footage, because I'm not on my, I'm gonna move this whole thing into the safe zone. This whole clip and put it back in a minute, because I don't want to lose anything when I'm adjusting. Okay, so this is where I was talking about a good peak.
Is the same. I just think that people are.
We need to get the flux capacitor going, get Dr. on star, go back.
So let's see.
So I think if you want the indifference, what we need to do is we need to get the flux
participating
capacitor going, get Dr. on star.
I think that people are. It's easy to care.
So I think if you want the indifference, what we need to do is we need to get the flux capacitor going, get
Okay, so yeah, that is our peak right there that we're gonna go by, because we're talking about getting a flux capacitor. Pretty funny guy. Mad serious, but when he cracks jokes, it's unexpected. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's see.
Dr. on star, go back.
No. Let me give this a try and with letting Premiere do this again. Synchronize. Let's do mix down, because I did lower the gain. A lot of editing is waiting, rendering, encoding, all that kind of stuff. Takes up a lot of time. That's just the life of an editor. If you want to edit, be prepared to stay focused on what you're doing and not get so sidetracked. Because it is easy to get sidetracked when you're waiting for something to sync up sound and things like that. So, because usually I do other work on other freelance projects while I'm doing another project, and then I forget to get back to what I was doing. And oh, by the way, I disable autosave in my options because it slows it down, and I've had a lot of freezes because of it. So you just want to save by pressing Control S every once in a while, like every 5 minutes I do it. Alright, so it seems like Premiere...
You need to get the flux capacitor going, get documents started, go back in
So Premiere did its job.
time, and just give yourself a trophy for participating.
Okay. We're joking around about kids these days. Alright, so this belongs here. We all know. I just have to make sure it's lined up correctly. Let's make sure there's no...
Probably, I'd say 40%
Let's see what our jump cuts look like.
not usable in this society right now. They had a huge...
Okay, so you can see there's some blank space here. That's what I was
There's
thinking.
probably, I'd say, 40% of those exchange
so there's a little
employees
jump cut there.
that life had changed dramatically
Because
in
of the
a very
DSLR.
negative way. Very.
Trade for. If you're going to buy and sell at the same price, you can't make any
Again,
money.
see here?
But you have to pay fees.
and
You have to pay broker's fees. You have
So-
to pay,
There was
I
just
try to make
there was just so many
everything
things that
match
changed so
evenly.
quickly,
With
and
the V,
it just
by
it just
pressing V. Here I'm going to do another A, move everything over. A selects everything in front of it. This little audio clip, I guess, is just cut out because I don't think it belongs to any footage. I see there's a jump cut here in the sound. So let me move that over a wee bit. Actually, you know what? I have to go back and fix. Let me keep it the way it was. No, this might not match up.
John, I was lying. I have one last question and then you're going to take over.
I just have two quick questions.
This is kind of hard to do, but I want you
So that was not important. It just doesn't make sense to me why there's no jump cut, which is funny because there usually is always a jump cut when you have DSLR.
one last question and then you're going to take over. John, I was lying. I have one last question and then you're going to take over.
I just have two quick.
Okay, so he's just nodding his head.
This is kind of hard to do, but I
Okay, so I'm just gonna start with, since we didn't slate it, I'm just gonna do this, just leave a little extra.
I know this is kind of hard to do, but I
Okay. So now we have officially synced all of our sound with our footage for this 1.5 hour long interview, which, if done by eye, could have taken forever, but we got it done pretty quickly, and I hope I showed you some good tools of the trade using Adobe Premiere CC Pro 2014 version. If you liked what you saw, leave a comment, please no trolls, and let me know if you learned anything, and let me know if you think I'm a good teacher, and if I should post more videos, as this is my first one. And as you can see, I'm really just making sure everything is put together in a one easy screen. See? No gaps and things like that. Alright, so that is how we sync sound automatically and physically, visually, independently in Adobe Premiere Pro. I also showed you how to open a new project and start a new sequence, and showed you how to import video, pretty much start from scratch, and what an assistant editor would be doing for an editor. So enjoy, and have a great day.